So about 3 months ago, a participant of mine actually sent me a news article actually alerting me to the Monument Fund trying to save monasteries here in the Drino Valley. And today I've hired 2 local drivers to take 4 of us up the valleys to go seeking out these hidden gems. The condition, we're not sure. We are sure that there's going to be something that remains, and we're going to try and gain access with key holders and more and hunt out the best of the visuals that remain. This is our vehicles for the day. Let's go. So we stopped here to let ourselves cool down for 5 minutes. Had a bit of a hectic hill. We're nearly at the first monastery, probably going to be 2 or 3 minutes. We can actually see the top of it from here. This vehicle's struggled more than this one. Great start, but certainly this one's not being renovated anytime soon. It's great to be up here. It's a nice day, pretty cool. Let that cool down and we'll be on the road again. On the road, we've cooled down and we're going again. Okay, so what it is that I'm looking for inside of these spaces is I don't want repetitive shots. I'm not after shots that are basically going to cause me every shot's going to look the same. A lot of monasteries, churches to check, and we don't want them to be a repetitive series. So every time I'm entering one, first of all, I'm looking to try to get an individual shot that's probably unique to that monastery. So when we tie it all together, it's going to look very, very good. Here, the road, as you saw coming in for the first one, is very difficult. So it's unlikely we're going to come back with our hire vehicle, meaning potentially an external is probably worth it here too. I'm going to get on inside and get photographing it. So inside of that one, I actually just took one photo. I'm going to look at an external shot. I'm actually going to go around the back here on the ridge and see if I can get an external with the jeeps either side of the actual monastery. Actually, inside of there, the main photo I actually captured was the light coming towards the camera's position with just frescoes framing a door. Very simple shot, very difficult to pull off because of the space in there. And externally, of course, it's excellent, but that's not showing off those frescoes. So during the day, I'm going to try and capture a mixture of those frescoes throughout, because there's going to be many of them, and I know that there's going to be easier ones to pull off than that one in there. So this is the image that I captured inside of there, and as you can see, the light's coming towards that camera's position, but it's framing up the frescoes above the doorway in particular. The other ones upwards into cupola and so on, when I looked around, it just seemed a very difficult shot to pull off, and it's incredibly dark inside. So I've opted just for that one shot. Of course, tight angles meant that I was using my geared head to its fullest. I used my 17mm to get nice and wide in there and try and capture those ornate frescoes inside. I think it's a good one, but I don't think it's going to be the best one of the day. Externally, probably is. So I mentioned earlier that the vehicle that me and Carlos were allocated was actually struggling to get up the hill, and that was the case, as illustrated by the priest bump starting it here. And we decided at that point, after a snap belt, overheating issues and more, that maybe it was time to get down the hill ASAP and switch that vehicle out. We ended up with a broken down car, basically water overheated, so we ended up switching it out just to be safe. We're down the hill, we're now going off to the second monastery, grab some water, and we're ready to go. Second one, here we go. So this one we've decided, the second one of the day, we've decided not to spend too much time at. It's got a beautiful cupola, lovely colours. I've showed you a quick clip of that, but to be honest with you, they started repainting everything already with these yellow parts. So to be honest with you, I've not really found a particularly nice shot or frame. You could do a nice perspective from here if you were going to just shoot through, but I just don't like the modern features they've added. They've started renovating this one in full. So we're not going to waste any time. We're already delayed with the breakdown with the vehicle switch out. So actually we're going to crack on to the third of the day. So we're just about to leave the same site. And actually as we're leaving, we went to check out the church lower down, and it ended up being quite a nice spot. It's kind of a one-shot wonder, but it's kind of nice original frescoes left behind, some nice features. The most important thing in here is the complementary colour. The colours are really soft browns and blues, and it looks really cool. So that's one of the things that I was drawn to when coming to these sites. So yeah, we're going to get a shot of this one, maybe just a landscape orientation shot, and yeah, we'll put it on the screen. We're now like maybe 30 minutes away from the next location. We're cruising down past this stream here. It's a very hot day by this point. This is where we're at. This is actually a lot nicer than this morning's road. It's a bit tougher at the end. This is the furthest point we're going today, the monastery that's up here. And hopefully it's going to be a good one. So one of the challenges we've had today when it comes to actually shooting these places is they're very tight spaces. So you've got to be prepared to get your tripod in position first. I actually went in every time and scouted it out, as I always do, and then looked at like what shots are going to work. Of course, I mentioned earlier we're talking about like the frescoes and getting the good ones. Now, one of the things that obviously shows the fresco off the most and looks the best is the cupola, actually looking upwards. So in here now, I'm going to look to photograph a couple of shots inside of this space, probably looking towards the door, get some light bursting in and show some of those nice frescoes off, some of the peeling paint and where the renders come off the wall at the bottom, showing the decay. Then I'm going to look to probably get a ceiling shot of that cupola, which that's going to always lead itself to, with me, I'm always, first of all, trying to get my camera, getting my bracket like so into this position, and then mounting my L bracket here, so onto this position, shooting directly upwards. And my best advice, as I always give here, is to really get the tripod in the center of the room first, and then of course try to then look at the LCD. Don't be drawn in by the LCD and then actually, you end up off one side or off the other side, and it's very difficult to then frame up, well, especially with speed, as we're trying to do today. The light's getting lower in the sky. We've got another monastery we want to try and check out before the end of the day. is probably going to be the best of the best, because you've got this kind of lower light starting to materialize. So hopefully it's going to wrap things up for us. So they're the two shots. Now, in terms of like exposure settings and adjusting that, now of course it's taking your time framing things up. I'm using the geared head to allow me to do that, and then I'm bracketing. And the difficulty in the middle of the day is that the window light is bursting in, and you saw with the small one it was like fading on the right hand side. Now that's fine, I've got 5 brackets, 1 stop apart, but underexposing it, you know, ever so gently to be able to pull up the shadows and blend them together and sort of make it a nice tight. So you've got no blown out windows, no blown out features. That's what I'm looking to avoid. So anyway, I'm going to get on in and we're going to photograph. Okay. Alright, so I'm doing the same technique as earlier, light coming towards the camera. This one looks a lot better though. The door is giving a really nice vibe. I'm going to get my tripod as high as I possibly can here. Highest possible position, focusing on the arches left and right. Just basically slowing down as much as possible. Getting my 5 brackets activated, all the same as usually in architecture. I'm also going to underexpose it ever so slightly more than I normally probably would, on the basis that I've got this beautiful light coming in through the door and everything's looking fantastic. And this is the other challenge with these frescoes, is they're always facing windows and there's lighting challenges. And that's the reason why I've decided to go towards the door and the light again, because of up here there is some light coming in over my head, which isn't looking as I would want. I'm going to shuffle forward a bit because there's a beam here as well. I've kind of messed that one up actually quite a bit. I've realised that my composition is just ever so slightly off. So again, it's just those fine tuning, using the, so it's just underexposed. Hopefully we can get one more in. It's been a great day. Using the 4x4s has been genius. Now about to position this camera on the flip side to get the right angle going up. I'll quickly show you what I've done and then we'll get the ceiling shot to finish. Tripod position in 90 degrees. I'm going to unlock this. I'm going to turn this into this position. All what I normally do when I'm shooting ceilings really. The difference is here is because the cupola is quite far away, let's be honest. I'm actually going to punch into 35mm all the way in. I'm going to bring myself all the way over here. I'm going to flip this out like so that I can see it. In fact, sometimes I don't even do that. I could just come into this position here like that, and 35mm. Go forward a tiny fraction, swivel around, checking I'm in the centre of the room, which I sort of am, just a little bit over. Looking back upwards. Absolutely fine. Where I am there is perfect. And I'm going to press shoot. So 35mm, nice and easy. So going in at 35mm, it means it's a lot easier to keep your lines straight and make sure that everything works. None of the frescoes are destroyed up there. There's this beautiful gold pop as well, which works really, really well. So, really easy. Actually, to be honest with you, I've completed this place 3 shots in less than sort of 35 minutes really, which is fantastic. We're at the tail end of the day now. We're going up to a final monastery of the day, hopefully. About 15 minutes ago, we're in a cafe having some ice cream, and I read an article about how they're trying to get tourists now to this area. They're a long way off that happening because they're not easy to reach. You know, they want to get people to them, make a tourism route, if you will, in Albania, so they don't lose them forever. But the problem is the paths, the roads, the tracks, it all makes it pretty tough to get to be honest. Probably going to finish up with just a shot looking out across the cupola straight on. We've managed to get a vantage point we've just sort of figured out using the drone actually. I threw the drone into position just above the roof there and ended up getting the tripod then set up on the tip of the roof but not standing on it because it's fairly newly redone. And it gives us a vantage point which is probably a little bit nicer than this one. They've just done all these rocks and the white is kind of a little bit off-putting. Of course it's going to fade over time. The idea is, of course, over time they want to get more tourists up here. For that, they're going to end up having to get the roads a bit more redone and so on. And whether they're going to be worth it or that happens, who knows in the future. But we managed to capture a fair range of photos. Not quite the variety that I was hoping for. One thing we didn't get is a lot of the light that we were hoping for. But overall, we've had quite a good adventure looking for these things, especially going out in the 4x4s and trying to get into sort of remote areas to pick them up. I'm sure there's a lot more, and definitely in the future maybe come back and look for those too. But for now, that's pretty much everything. If you've got any comments, leave them down below. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye from Albania.